What's happening with our Jasmy price prediction? Well, don't worry, guys. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. During the recent sell-off, or throughout the recent sell-off that we are experiencing, likely going into FOMC, which is a macroeconomic setting event, during this pullback, I've been inundated with messages in regards to Jasmy's price and what I think is going to happen with it. And has this affected the price prediction that we gave? Well, the answer is absolutely not. And we're going to be covering all of that in this video. We're going to be covering the big time frames, reiterating where we think Jasmy is going. There's a great community of you guys out there. Jasmy has a super strong community. And I actually think you guys are going to do very, very well. So not only are we going to be covering the smaller time frame, the larger time frames, we're also going to be diving into the smaller time frames. I think with Jasmy, just like we highlighted that prior falling wedge that led you to where we were currently, you've also got another one that's formed in and around this key level of significance, which we believe is going to form a neckline for an inverse head and shoulders that is going to see Jasmy go to 70 cents and beyond. So we are going to cover all of that. I think a good place to start is with our price prediction. Now, nice big zoomed out macro chart. This is we're on a weekly chart here, price prediction for Jasmy. We ultimately think that this is a left shoulder, this is a head, and this is a right shoulder that is ultimately going to see Jasmy go to $71. Sorry, $71. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. 71 cents. I don't want to give anybody a heart attack there, by the way, guys. I do apologize. The dyslexic in me is always trying to come out. 71 cents. Let's make that abruptly clear or abundantly clear. And of course, we did do a video on this not that long ago when Jasmy certainly took that neckline. Now, since then, it has came back into the certainly below now what is resistance that we think eventually will flip as support and ultimately trigger this broader pattern. But it's not the end of the world. Actually, Jasmy is setting up perfectly. It's in this kind of falling wedge pattern on the shorter term, which is a continuation pattern. You often get them on pullbacks. Remember, pullbacks in uptrends are descending. That's exactly what we're getting for Jasmy today. This is ultimately going to set us up for upside continuation. And actually, we were looking at the prospects of Jasmy doing this months ago. And really, when we look at Jasmy on the big time frames, this is a super good looking chart. Now, regardless of the technical patterns that we have on, we of course like to teach that the markets move in four phases. And ultimately, this is your phase one base. We'll throw the schematic on screen to help you guys out. Phase one is typically initiated with the running of a resistance level. This was a range target that you met perfectly before you sold off. Phase one's base is often taken with serious volume, and that is nothing short of what you got for Jasmy, initiating an uptrend. So Jasmy is in an uptrending state. It's in a phase two state, and we're expecting continuation of that until there's reason to suspect otherwise. And on top of that, we've identified what is currently forming in the form of an inverse head and shoulders that ultimately we believe once it sort of breaks properly and triggers, or once it starts to get rocking and rolling, I should say, is going to get you to around about 71 cents. Now, that's a very exciting prospect, and some of you may be a little bit skeptical. Well, we're going to show you three other markets that we predicted the exact same thing for. Some of them made their targets. Some of them are just shy off it, like Amazon, which we said was going to double, very much there. And we used the same methods on these three charts. Get your fingers right all in. That we're using on Jasmy today that ultimately leads us to believe it's going to get there. Once we've covered that, and we're reiterating everything that we've said previously, we'll dive into the small time frames, and I'll show you actually Jasmy's in a great place, likely setting up a small time frame falling wedge that's going to lead to continuation. I think that comes on the back end of FOMC. So this is Amazon. Now, those of you who remember, we were highlighting this inverse head and shoulders. The beautiful thing about Jasmy as well is it's very compliant as an inverse head and shoulders. This left shoulder is a steeper shoulder than your right one. Your right one's weaker, kind of nudging you in that direction, if you will. But let's go back to Amazon. So with Amazon, we were predicting the same thing that we are predicting today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's maybe go to a 3 daily time frame for Jasmy. And you can see the similarities between these two charts, can't you? They are abundantly clear in regards to the structure that is forming. And since we were predicting this for Amazon, just like we're predicting with Jasmy today, you can see you had some consolidation in and around the neckline, just like you're getting with Jasmy. But ultimately, this has led to a pretty nice move for Amazon. We still believe it's going higher. Right now, we think it's coiling up, it's consolidating, but it's getting ready for that continuation. So this is very much a kind of glimpse into the future, a crystal ball to what Jasmy has ahead of it. Let's show you another example. Now, this is the largest German stock exchange index. This is the DAX. Let's go down a smaller time frame to show you this. We've got a lot of drawings on here because we do a lot of work on these because it kind of relates to the crypto market, even though they're traditional markets. You can see left stabby right shoulder, left stabby right shoulder. Then we've got a nice head. Then we've got a short stubby right shoulder. As you can see, sort of pausing a little bit here. What then took place? Let's have a look. And this is the sort of path. Remember, this target is up here. Amazon hasn't quite met its target, but we do think it will get there very shortly. DAX has got its target up at 18,163. Now, this is a big move for a traditional stock market. But again, using the same methods we're using to predict where Jasmy's price is going, we used it for the DAX. And let's have a look how this turned out. Pull back to the neckline, which could definitely be on the cards for Jasmy. In fact, we could be living through it now. It could be a short, stubby pullback. You can see you approach your all-time highs. This is a perfect place to consolidate, just like what Bitcoin did. Remember, we kept everyone on the scent there. You form that handle for your cup and handle pattern. You break out. You run into some resistance. You retest your neckline again of the cup and handle pattern. And boom. Target met. This is what the future of Jasmy looks like, ladies and gentlemen. And we're here to keep you on that scent, despite the current price action that we've seen. We'll show you why we actually think the price action that we've seen isn't such a bad thing. Let's talk about VanEck Semiconductors ETFs. This has been a monster of a stock. Let's go to the daily, actually. Let's go right the way down. Again, right shoulder, deep right shoulder, head, left shoulder, all sort of very bunched up against the neckline. This is not the best view, actually, guys. Let's do something like this. And let's take a look at how this played out in regards to reacting with our target. It's got above and beyond. We won't keep you guys in any more suspense. You can see as it's making or touching its neckline, it's sort of consolidating in and around it. It's kind of what Jasmy's doing today. This one had a cup and a handle for it also. Very coincidentally, two charts we've chosen to use, but these are some head and shoulders we've had great success for, just like or inverse head and shoulders, just like we're predicting for Jasmy. And you can see, boom, target met. It won't be long, in my opinion, before Jasmy does the same thing and ultimately embarks towards that 71 cents target. You're going to see some insane things in the year of 2025, ladies and gentlemen, and happen to believe Jasmy is going to be a part of that. So now we've shown you and we've kind of recapped on what we've said. We spoke about phase analysis. We spoke about the technical patterns giving us further confluence to this being an uptrend and continuation in that uptrend. And we've shown you examples of this playing out for us previously. And those of you that have been following me since at least 2023 will know that these were things we were looking at. Let's talk about the small time frames. And let's look at Jasmy's current structure in and around this neckline. I think this is beautiful. I think this is a falling wedge, if ever I've seen one. We've highlighted a number of these, by the way. It's not the greatest because of this sort of sell-off here, but you can see the DNA. And it's very common when you break a falling wedge that you come back and you retest. I'm pretty sure we had a falling wedge for Jasmy here also. 1, 2, 3, breakout, retest, boom, continuation, falling wedge pattern complete. We called this, by the way, along with, I think it was 16 or 17 other falling wedges in the cryptocurrency space. I'm saying you're setting up in a similar manner today, ladies and gentlemen, and you're likely going to see continuation off of the back end of it. It's very common once you break, you get a retest. Unfortunately, Jasmy is still correlated to the entire cryptocurrency space, as are all cryptos. Obviously, borrowing Bitcoin, it kind of sets the pace, if you will. But when we look at the big picture for Jasmy, it is a pretty sensational outlook from a technical point of view. And of course, this is not a fundamental video. I know lots of you, there's people out there that are far better at covering Jasmy. We cover so many cryptos out there. Jasmy is not one that we really get to cover fundamentally, but it's something we'd like to explore in a lot more detail. Let me know some channels to follow in the description, guys. We're always happy to share the love. Also, we'll potentially get some people on if you want us to interview them, potentially even from the Jasmy team. We've done lots of great interviews here at Allincrypto. But when we look at Jasmy as a whole, it's a really beautiful picture that is being painted. Technically, things look good. And of course, fundamentally, there's a lot going on with Jasmy, and we're going to see this kind of global arms race as it relates to cryptocurrency, distributed ledger technology, embracing it to ultimately gain that edge on the geopolitical global stage. That is it from me, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to love and leave you on that note. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching, and we will see you all in the next one.